Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 121, 7th Star Cave. 6th Star Cave. Lin Yuan's figure appeared. Walk to the opposite side, and you can pass. Reminder: there is no risk of losing your life in this star cave. Lin Yuan glanced at the stele next to him. It described the method to pass through the star cave. The opposite side? Lin Yuan looked up. The so-called opposite side was about 10 steps away. Lin Yuan looked around. Within these 10 steps, dozens of testers were scattered about. These evolvers were either standing still, or looking down in thought, or frozen in place, or appeared bewildered. This star cave tests the soul as well. It's probably not just a simple soul attack. Lin Yuan looked thoughtful. The evolvers who stopped within the 10 steps showed different expressions, but overall they seemed calm, not showing signs of being under attack. After observing for a while, Lin Yuan, confident that there were no issues, took a step towards the opposite side. In an instant, the scenery around him changed. Lin Yuan was sitting at the top floor of a luxurious building, clearly seeing the outside world through the huge floor-to-ceiling windows. Spaceships and warships were landing one after another, and beyond the planet, there were space fortresses as big as the sun and moon standing guard. Now my identity is the wealthiest merchant in the Chikuan star domain? Do I have enough wealth to buy a whole star system? Am I conducting business with other star domains, and even different species? A flood of memories appeared in Lin Yuan's mind out of nowhere, allowing him to quickly understand his current situation. Master, the level 6 resource planet you bought a month ago has now been fully taken over. This level 6 resource planet, rich in all kinds of precious ores, brings in an income of 230 trillion cosmic currency every year. Master, the interest from your central bank deposit last year has been credited in full, which is roughly an income of 120 trillion cosmic currency. Master, the Cosmic Galaxy company you invested in, the shareholder dividend this year is 83 trillion cosmic currency. Master, intelligent robots stood not far away, continuously reporting various incomes. The unit of measurement used was not the Human Alliance's civilization currency, but the higher-end cosmic currency. Compared to the civilization currency, which can only be used within Human Alliance territories, cosmic currency can be used in many racial territories. The exchange rate between the two is 1 to 10,000. 10,000 civilization currency can be exchanged for 1 cosmic currency. Too wealthy. Lin Yuan checked his account balance. The string of zeros at the end made him gasp in amazement. Too bad. It's all an illusion. Lin Yuan sighed softly, and the scenes around him began to shatter. He was back in the 6th star cave. So, with each step taken, one experiences a kind of illusionary realm? Lin Yuan looked thoughtful, having now completed the first step. To continue, he would have to take the second step. The illusionary realm is not difficult. Assuming you are prepared, it's not much of a threat, but it's too tempting. Even knowing it's fake, it makes one want to stay a little longer, to experience it a bit more. Lin Yuan thought to himself. If one harbored such thoughts, it would be dangerous, because for every second you linger in the illusionary realm, days might pass by in the outside world. Indeed, the illusionary realm would not threaten the life of the tester. However, if one stayed in the star cave for more than a month, they would be automatically disqualified. If one indulged too much, enjoyed too much, they might unconsciously ignore time and thus be eliminated. Continue. Lin Yuan reflected for a moment, then took the second step. the environment around him changed once again. This time, Lin Yuan appeared in a magnificent palace. Surrounding him were numerous beauties. These females were all stunningly beautiful, each movement capturing the soul, currently serving Lin Yuan in a submissive manner. The first step is wealth, the second step is beauty? Lin Yuan thought to himself. He couldn't deny that everything in the illusionary realm felt extremely real, the delicate touch of the skin and the lingering fragrance in the air. King! A beauty with deep blue pupils snuggled up, trailing her slender fingers across Lin Yuan's chest, whispering in his ear. King! Another beauty came onto him, caressing Lin Yuan's abdomen, with a hot breath flowing. King! 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 One beauty after another drew close, and if placed in the human alliance, they would at least be streamers or stars with hundreds of billions of fans, but now they were all trying to please Lin Yuan. Must focus on the important things. Lin Yuan withdrew his right hand from the embrace of a beauty, and with a thought, in a flash, the scenes around him began to shatter, and Lin Yuan was back in the 6-star cave. To say he returned to the star cave is somewhat inaccurate because Lin Yuan never left it in the first place. Everything he experienced was an illusion. Has a minute passed? Lin Yuan looked at the time. Quite insidious. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. In the beauty illusionary realm, as long as a tester feels like enjoying the experience a little, such as trying the skills of the beauties, even if it's only for a few seconds, the passage of time in the outside world could accelerate by nearly 10 to dozens of times. After all, compared to the wealth illusionary realm of the first step, the beauty illusionary realm of the second step created sensations almost identical to reality. Enjoying it there was almost no different from enjoying it in the real world. Next, Lin Yuan took several steps in succession. The illusionary realms he encountered varied greatly, involving power, status, strength, and so on. The illusionary realms of the 6-star cave were very realistic, targeting each tester's inner desires and emotions. But for Lin Yuan, these were oversimplified. It wasn't that Lin Yuan had a particular talent in this area, but rather he had experienced all there was to experience. Chapter 122. Compared to the other testers under 100 years old, Lin Yuan had gone through 3 shuttles with a true age nearing 300 years. Beauty, wealth, status, Lin Yuan had experienced them all. In a certain mysterious space in the 7-star cave world, 12 figures almost simultaneously noticed Lin Yuan, who was passing through the 6-star cave at an extremely fast pace. How is he so fast? Those illusions, do they not affect him at all? It can't be. A 20-year-old kid. How can he have such a state of mind? The 9 figures below exchanged glances. The test of the 6-star cave wasn't difficult to pass, but to do so like Lin Yuan, almost unaffected by the illusionary realm, was rare. The testers who had passed through the 7th-star cave before had almost all wasted several hours, or perhaps half a day, on those 10 steps. To the 12 figures, this was nothing out of the ordinary. After all testers were under 100 years old. At such a young age, to possess 3rd or 4th rank strength meant that besides their talent, they surely spent most of their time immersed in cultivation. Where would they have the chance to experience such trials? The 3 figures above silently watched Lin Yuan. The path of evolution is an exceedingly difficult one. If one stops due to some temptation halfway, no matter how strong the talent, the eventual achievements would be extremely limited. Reflected Gu Zhe inwardly, with increasing satisfaction in his gaze towards Lin Yuan. At Lin Yuan's age, to pass the 6-star cave so decisively indicated an extraordinarily firm heart towards the Tao. As such, future influences from external factors would also be reduced to the minimum. Remarkable at such a young age. Indeed, at our age, it would also be a challenge to suppress our many desires. This Lin Yuan, he's just 20 years old, right? The other 2 figures also voiced their admiration. Up to now, the fastest to pass through the 6-star cave was Yinling with her red pattern silver spirit. But even for Yinling, it took over an hour to walk those 10 steps. And Lin Yuan, based on his current speed, it would take at most another 4 or 5 minutes to finish. And the reason why Yinling was so fast was that she had followed a 6th-rank Fallen Star warrior as a teacher from a young age. With such a 6th-rank Fallen Star warrior teacher's protection, Ling had access from a young age to everything that countless citizens look up to but can't have. Under such circumstances, it's naturally much easier to walk through those 10 steps of illusionary realm. It's like a native from a backward tribe who suddenly arrives on a high-level life planet or even the main planet of the human alliance. They would definitely be dazzled by the various high technologies and thus fall into decadence. But for a citizen who has lived on such a high-level life planet from birth, they would find it normal and could easily break free. Therefore, in the eyes of the three beings beyond the 6th rank, Lin Yuan is far more remarkable than Ling. According to public records, Lin Yuan comes from an ordinary family on Kanglan Star. Even under the attention of the goddess of wisdom, what could a 20-year-old have experienced? The 6th star cave. Lin Yuan took the 10th step, arrived on the other side, and passed the test. Love. The last step of the illusion flashed through Lin Yuan's mind. This step's illusion was a test of love. The love here didn't refer to romantic love, but to the broader concept of love. Parental love, affection between friends and family, and so on. No matter which emotion it is, love, hate, or something else, they are just adjustments on the path of life's evolution. One can enjoy them in moderation, but one must never sink into them or let these emotions affect oneself. Lin Yuan thought to himself quickly. He had the door to the myriad realms and was destined to travel through countless worlds, possessing countless identities. If he indulged in the emotional entanglements each identity brought, then he might as well stop cultivating. Sooner or later, he would go insane and die from inner demons. Them? Lin Yuan glanced behind him. Dozens of evolvers were still unmoving, either experiencing the illusionary realm, not wanting to wake up so quickly, or adjusting their thoughts to shake off the effects of the previous illusions they had experienced. The 7th star cave. Lin Yuan took another step forward, and his figure vanished as he left the 6th star cave. The 7th star cave. Lin Yuan's figure appeared. What is this? Lin Yuan's eyes widened. Compared to the previous 6-star caves, the sight of the 7th star cave was somewhat inconceivable. It was a huge mountain peak, floating in the cosmic starry skies, and Lin Yuan had appeared at the very top of this mountain peak. From this angle, he couldn't see the full extent of the mountain, only vaguely feeling that it was incredibly majestic. A peak within the cosmos? Lin Yuan was a bit stunned. He had a vague sense that this mountain was exceedingly real, not just a virtual image. Those stone statues? Lin Yuan looked around. He saw that at the top of the mountain peak, stone statues were situated at intervals. Compared to the statues in the 4th star cave, the statues here varied in form, with some like the sky rock, poised to fly, and others like a woman holding high the fire of life. In short, not a single statue was alike. The trial of this star cave is... Lin Yuan's gaze moved about, finding the familiar stone tablet. There are a total of 136 statues in this star cave, each containing a certain evolution path. To observe the statues and comprehend the evolution path within, and then touch the statue with your hand, is to pass the trial. Hint: what suits you best is the best. Do not aim too high and seek to forcibly understand those grand statues. 136 statues? 136 evolution paths? Lin Yuan was slightly startled. At this moment, he also noticed that speckled atop the mountain were over 100 stone statues of various sizes. The largest statues were over 10 meters tall, but such tall statues only summed up to 16. The rest of the statues were only 2 to 3 meters in size. Lin Yuan walked toward the nearest statue. This statue was a sky rock with outstretched wings, nearly 3 meters in size. Its wings spread as if ready to soar into the skies. Perfect, just like the real thing. Lin Yuan observed for a while, and his mind soon immersed itself. He could feel as if the statue had come to life, each feather seemingly quivering. Wind. The wind of heaven and earth. Lin Yuan sensed that the sky rock seemed to be the incarnation of the winds between heaven and earth. With just a slight flap of its wings, merging with the wind, it could cross hundreds of miles in an instant, soaring with the wind for 100,000 miles. Your perception is extraordinary. Watching the Skyrock statue, you've grasped the Skywind evolution path. Finally arrived at the 7th star cave. In the mysterious space, 12 silhouettes all looked at Lin Yuan with expectation. Given Lin Yuan's performance in the 4th and 6th star caves, in the minds of these 12 silhouettes, he was already second only to those 3 with the red patterns. Even in some aspects, he surpassed the 3 with the red patterns. After all, the perception Lin Yuan had demonstrated in the 4th star cave was truly astonishing. The 3 silhouettes above similarly looked toward Lin Yuan. Gu Zhe, in particular, stared unblinkingly at Lin Yuan. The 4th star cave, although also a test of perception, is far less detailed and specific than the 7th star cave. The 3 silhouettes understood this clearly. The 136 statues in the 7th star cave, containing 136 evolution paths, in fact symbolized 136 different directions of paths. Examinees comprehending among them, without written guidance, just by perceiving the evolution path within the statues, meant that they were very suitable for that evolution path. If not suitable, it would be difficult to comprehend. The kind of trial in the 7th star cave was exactly to reveal the talents and potentials of all examinees, so as to provide guidance for what comes next. I hope it's one of those statues, Gu Zhe thought to himself. The several statues he was thinking of were naturally those evolution paths broadly similar to his direction. Though Lin Yuan's current path embodied the extreme attributes of yin and yang, it did not mean that he could only walk on this evolution path. Perhaps there were more suitable ones that Lin Yuan had not encountered before. Hence this choice. If Gu Zhe found an evolution path more suitable for Lin Yuan, he could completely intervene to forcefully change it. In human civilization, as long as one's cultivation has not reached the 6th rank, it's possible to choose a different evolution path after paying a certain price. Just like Lulan He from the Rainstorm Star Domain, who had changed at least dozens of evolution paths by replicating his flesh. Chapter 123 I realize. Mysterious space. 12 figures were all paying close attention to Lin Yuan. Even though Lin Yuan could only accept one of them as his master in the end, everyone was curious about which stone statue Lin Yuan would ultimately choose to comprehend. The 136 stone statues in the 7th star cave all contain evolutionary paths of at least the 6th rank. As for those more than 10 stone statues exceeding 10 meters in height, they contain evolutionary paths that surpass the 6th rank. Of course, these are also the most difficult stone statues to comprehend. The rules of the evolutionary paths that surpass the 6th rank are profoundly mysterious, and it's unknown how much they exceed the typical 6th rank evolutionary paths. One can only imagine the difficulty of comprehending them. Even if one only needs to comprehend the 3rd rank chapter or 4th rank chapter that corresponds to their own strength, it's as difficult as ascending to the heavens. This is also why the tablet in the 7th star cave advises everyone to act according to their capabilities. If one forcibly tries to comprehend those 10+ stone statues, and ends up running out of time, they might be directly eliminated. Huh? Why is he going to choose the Skywind stone statue? Could it be that Lin Yuan is compatible with the wind rule? The Skywind evolutionary path is at the 6th rank level. Although it's not as impressive as those 16 stone statues, it's still pretty decent. Upon seeing Lin Yuan stopping in front of the spread-winged rock stone statue, the 12 figures started discussing among themselves. It's also possible he just wants to have a look, right? No examiner finds the right stone statue for themselves right off the bat. Didn't those 3 red pattern examiners also take a while to finally decide which stone statue to comprehend? The 12 figures speculated out loud. The Skywind evolutionary path? Gu Zhe was slightly startled. He was not adept at the wind rule, so if Lin Yuan chooses this stone statue, Gu Zhe glanced at his second senior brother. He remembered that his second senior brother's path should contain the wind rule, right? The Skywind evolutionary path? Lin Yuan opened his eyes, his mind flickering through details of this particular evolutionary path. This is a 6th rank evolutionary path, and it's much more profound than the pagoda evolution path. Lin Yuan felt a surge of joy in his heart, as even among sixth-rank evolutionary paths, there are levels of depth. This depends on the level of the creator of the evolutionary path. And Lin Yuan could clearly feel that the exposition on the essence of the wind rule within the Skywind evolutionary path was much more complete. The winds of heaven and earth. Lin Yuan took a deep breath. Wind is everywhere, seemingly gentle, yet it can also display a violent side. The Skywind evolutionary path, the rules of wind it portrayed, are of course only a small part of the overall wind rule. Yet even so, it greatly benefited Lin Yuan. The winds of heaven and earth, they too are Taiji. Lin Yuan quickly absorbed the essence of the Skywind evolutionary path, continually perfecting the martial path evolutionary path. Taiji gives birth to all things, embracing all things. Half an hour later, Lin Yuan opened his eyes once again. The Skywind evolutionary path was of great help and had a significant impact on him, but at the moment, the pressing priority was not to ponder on the Skywind evolutionary path over and over. Lin Yuan raised his head. He looked towards the other 100 or more stone statues. His eyes inevitably shone with eagerness. Sixth-rank evolutionary paths, if placed on the Alliance Mall app, would be worth at least several billion. But now they were piled up in front of him. And furthermore, Lin Yuan's gaze lingered on those 16 stone statues exceeding 10 meters in height. If stone statues containing sixth-rank evolutionary paths are only 2 or 3 meters tall, then wouldn't those exceeding 10 meters contain evolutionary paths that surpass the sixth rank? Thinking this, Lin Yuan took a deep breath. Evolutionary paths that surpass the sixth rank, he could not even find them on the Mall app, due to a lack of the necessary permissions. So far, the only evolutionary path that surpassed the sixth rank Lin Yuan had come into contact with was the ancient god evolution path practiced by Fang Qing. However, the ancient god evolution path has many restrictions on cultivation, and Lin Yuan could not obtain the complete path, only being able to communicate by sparring and slowly comprehending with Fang Qing. But now, such evolutionary paths of this caliber, 16 in total, were laid out in front of Lin Yuan. One at a time. There's no need to rush. There's a whole month's time. Lin Yuan steadied himself and turned his head again to look at the spread-winged rock stone statue in front of him. According to the rules of passing the 7-star cave, as long as one comprehends an evolutionary path from a stone statue, then touches the statue by hand, gathering the essence of that evolutionary path to inject into the statue, they would pass the 7-star cave. In a certain sense, Lin Yuan had already passed the test. After all, he had already comprehended the Skywind evolutionary path, and could at any time gather the essence of that evolutionary path. But Lin Yuan glanced at the other 100+ evolutionary paths and decided to stay a little longer. After all, as long as he passes the test within a month, there's no criterion regarding the duration of time taken. Next one. Lin Yuan stood up and walked towards the closest stone statue. This statue resembled a lifelike mouse and seemed to subtly contain a chunk of earth within it. Mysterious space. The 12 figures saw Lin Yuan leaving the spread-winged rock stone statue with mixed emotions, some relaxed, some regretful. It seems the Skywind evolutionary path is not suitable after all. True, when you think about it, Lin Yuan has comprehended rules related to yin affiliation and yang affiliation. Even if there are evolutionary paths that are more suitable for him, they're not related to wind attributes. There's still plenty of time. Let's just watch slowly. Although the stone statues contain complete evolutionary paths, comprehending them is not so easy to achieve. The 12 figures conversed with each other. Their tones relaxed. Their focus was not solely on Lin Yuan but also on those 3 red pattern examiners. At the moment, the 3 red pattern examiners were each sitting under different stone statues. The silver-haired girl, Yin Ling, was seated in front of a Rubik's Cube stone statue that stood 12 meters high, but at times seemed as small as a fist. Chapter 124. The man with nearly 3 meters of brute strength and a line of blood on his forehead was also concentrating hard, trying to grasp the deeper understanding. They had chosen to analyze stone statues that were more than 10 meters tall. Those that were only 2 or 3 meters high were never even considered. That Lin Yuan, why has he left again? A little strange. Sits for a while and then leaves. Time slowly passed. The 12 figures quickly noticed something unusual about Lin Yuan. Because Lin Yuan never stayed at any of the stone statues for more than 2 hours. At most, after an hour, he would get up and move on to the next statue. In fact, this wasn't really anything strange. After all, not every stone statue was suitable for Lin Yuan. One had to choose selectively. However, the way other examiners chose their appropriate statue was by taking in over 100 of them from a distance. Each statue contained different evolution pathways, and their auras were certainly diverse. This way, by encompassing all statues within one's view, it was easy to spot those with auras contradictory to one's own. Thus, one could directly select from the statues whose auras were harmonious with their own. This method was much more efficient. But Lin Yuan, on the contrary, would test each one from start to finish, without skipping any of them. No harm in looking at each statue. This way you also prevent missing out. Maybe you'll find an evolution pathway that's extremely suitable for you. Among the 3 figures above, Gu Zhe didn't seem to care much. Having a look at other statues was good too. At most, it was a waste of a little time, no major harm done. 7th Star Cave. In a blink, several days had passed. Lin Yuan had also discerned over 50 evolution pathways. With so many pathways, the understanding of the nature of rules sparked countless spiritual lights in Lin Yuan's mind. For a moment, the subsequent path for the 4th rank at the 11th and 12th levels faintly took shape. This was just the initial impact. As time went on and the numerous evolution pathways kept interacting, the push Lin Yuan received only grew stronger. This statue. At that moment, Lin Yuan approached a new statue. This statue, nearly 3 meters tall, depicted a woman holding a torch of life, emanating a faint vitality. Haven't you found a suitable one yet? Before Lin Yuan arrived, there was already another examiner contemplating at the base of this statue. It was the green-haired woman. Sensing Lin Yuan's approach, the green-haired woman stopped her contemplation and greeted him. This statue contains an evolution pathway related to life. If you don't find it appropriate, you should quickly choose another statue. The green-haired woman kindly reminded him. While contemplating herself, she had observed Lin Yuan wandering for several days without settling down to contemplate at any statue. Life! Lin Yuan nodded slightly, and began to gaze intently at the statue in front of him. Seeing this, the green-haired woman did not stop him. One statue could allow multiple testers to contemplate, which was also part of the rules. Although the green-haired woman didn't believe Lin Yuan was suited for an evolution pathway related to life, since he wanted to try, she did not feel right to stop him. An hour passed. Lin Yuan opened his eyes and exhaled softly, preparing to stand up and leave. Not suitable, right? The green-haired woman also opened her eyes and couldn't help but speak up. She had anticipated this scene, and during the past hour, she had spent little time contemplating, waiting instead for Lin Yuan to give up. The green-haired woman could never have imagined that. When Lin Yuan stood up, it wasn't to give up, but because he had already successfully discerned the evolution pathway within the statue. Ever since entering the 7th Star Cave, the green-haired woman had taken a liking to this statue at first sight. Feeling an immense compatibility with herself, she contemplated for more than 10 days. Finally, she had some thoughts and guessed that another 10 days or so, she might be able to discern the 4th rank chapter of the evolution pathway within the statue, and then pass the test. Lin Yuan smiled and said nothing more. At this moment, his mind kept resurfacing the evolution pathway he had just discerned. Life! In Lin Yuan's eyes, a hint of green emerged, eventually getting covered by a vast pattern of taiji. You'd better go over there and check. The green-haired woman thought Lin Yuan was a decent person, since he hadn't attacked her during the 1st Star Cave test. She spoke softly and pointed in a direction. The statues there were mostly related to yin and yang, which she felt might be more compatible with Lin Yuan. Thank you. Lin Yuan nodded. There was no need for the green-haired woman to remind him. His next direction was to walk towards that side. Mysterious space. The 12 figures all found Lin Yuan somewhat unfathomable. Almost 3 days had gone by. Lin Yuan had examined dozens of stone statues. Yet he still hadn't determined his choice. Instead, he continued to move towards the next statue. Such a waste of time. Does Lin Yuan have difficulty making choices? Dozens of statues and none suit him? The 12 voices buzzed with discussion. At first, when they saw Lin Yuan linger in front of statues similar to his own evolutionary path, they felt delighted. But as time went on, they grew numb to it. Because Lin Yuan truly was just lingering. An incredibly brief linger. In such a short time, nobody believed that Lin Yuan had comprehended the evolutionary path within the statue. They only thought that Lin Yuan wanted to try the next statue. The 3 figures above were also losing patience. The evolution path of blazing sun. Lin Yuan once again stood up from beneath the statue. This time, the path he had comprehended belonged to the Yang attribute, which could complement the aspect of Taiyang in the Tao of Taiji. The Yang of everything. Lin Yuan looked thoughtful. Even without combining it with Tai Yin, the ultimate power of Taiyang was terrifying, adept at slaying and fighting. Just as Lin Yuan was about to head to the next statue, buzz! Not far away, a statue suddenly started glowing. The figure standing beneath the statue disappeared in an instant. Has someone comprehended an evolutionary path? Is it a gold pattern evolver? Sigh, we continue to strive. The numerous evolvers all ceased their contemplations, whispering among themselves. Although they only needed to comprehend an evolutionary path within a month to pass the trial of the 7-star cave, there was no need to compare rankings or compete. But seeing others leave smoothly made the remaining evolvers slightly complex in thought. It's just like during an examination, when seeing someone submit their paper ahead of time. Even if that person's grades might not be very good, it would still put some pressure on the other students still taking the exam. He left so easily? Lin Yuan was slightly startled. He then realized that others were different from him. With Against Heaven's understanding, the 7th star cave was an unprecedented treasure trove for Lin Yuan. The longer he stayed, the more he could improve himself. But to those other examiners, after painstaking efforts, they finally comprehended the evolutionary path within the statue. Lacking the energy and ability to comprehend a second one, they naturally chose to leave without hesitation. It seems the evolutionary paths beyond the 6th rank are much more difficult than those of the 6th rank. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted slightly, looking towards the silver-haired girl and the other 2 red pattern examiners. The first one to pass the Star Cave trial was a golden pattern challenger. His early comprehension didn't mean his understanding was stronger than the 3 red patterns, but the evolution path contained in the statue he contemplated was merely 6th rank. Those 3 red pattern examiners were contemplating paths that surpassed the 6th rank. The difficulty of the 2 was not on the same level. I continue. Lin Yuan pondered for a while, then once more walked towards the next statue. Time passed. 2 days later, Lin Yuan arrived at the central peak, in front of the 12-meter-tall giant cube. Merely by gazing from afar, Lin Yuan felt spatial fluctuations rippling. Although nowhere near the spatial rift in the Divine Arms world, the space power it emitted was complete and orderly. An evolution path beyond the 6th rank. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly grave. This was the first statue over 10 meters tall he was contemplating. The other statues, 2 to 3 meters in height, looked like mere pebbles compared to the cube. Begin contemplation. Lin Yuan steadied his mind, lifting his head to gaze at the massive cube before him. Chapter 125 Gradual Departure. Beneath the gigantic magic cube, Lin Yuan observed carefully. Compared to those stone statues that were 2 to 3 meters tall, the magic cube was not still, but slowly rotating. Lin Yuan could see with his eyes that the 6 faces of the magic cube intersected with each other. The space flowing like water, continuously encircling the 6 faces until the magic cube completed a rotation, at which point all the space flows collapsed and started anew, repeating endlessly, without end. Space. Lin Yuan stood under the magic cube, his expression somewhat captivated. Space is infinitely large and yet infinitely small. This huge, magic cube, although far from explaining all the mysteries of space, contained enough essence for Lin Yuan to comprehend. In mysterious space within the 7-star cave world, 12 figures breathed a sigh of relief as they saw Lin Yuan finally stop under the giant, magic cube to contemplate. Since entering the 7th star cave, he had been aimlessly wandering for a full 3 to 4 days. Though each candidate could stay in the 7-star cave for a month, Lin Yuan's idle manner still caused the 12 figures a fair amount of worry. Now, at last, he had stopped. And the stone statue heritage he chose was not bad either, one of the 16 surpassing 6th rank evolution pathways, and even within those surpassing 6th rank evolution pathways, it could be ranked near the top. The magic cube statue. If he truly fits this evolution pathway, it will save a lot of trouble in the future. Among the 3 figures above, Gu Zhe nodded slightly, showing a look of approval. The other 6th rank evolution pathways were certainly good. But for the candidates who chose these evolution pathways, if they were lucky enough to cultivate to the peak of 6th rank and wanted to surpass it, they would need to switch to cultivating other similar evolution pathways. Switching isn't starting from scratch, but it does require the evolver to pay a significant price. Now, Lin Yuan had directly chosen a broad and smooth path, which made Gu Zhe happy at heart. But can he really comprehend it? A hint of expectation appeared on Gu Zhe's face. Choosing is one thing. Being able to do it is another. Of the more than 100 evolvers in the 7th star cave, who didn't know that the 16 statues contained evolution pathways far surpassing the others? But most evolvers still chose the 2 to 3 meter tall statues. The reason was that they simply couldn't comprehend them. Or rather, they weren't confident they could comprehend them within the given month. A bird in the hand is worth 10 in the forest. Although Lin Yuan had wasted a few days, with the imperceptible talent he displayed in the 4th star cave, as long as the chosen statue matched him, there shouldn't be any problem comprehending it, even if it was one of the 16 statues. Time passed. Just like that, most of a day went by. Lin Yuan stood there all the while, observing the giant, magic cube. Every moment, under the perception of his against heaven's understanding, he reaped a vast amount of insight, until the quantitative changes culminated in a qualitative transformation. So that's how it is. Space has neither form nor substance, but is present everywhere. Even a newborn infant can feel the existence of space, but feeling it doesn't mean one can control it. Lin Yuan felt a sudden sense of enlightenment. Your understanding defies the heavens. By observing the magic cube statue, you've comprehended the eternal space evolution pathway. The eternal space evolution pathway. Lin Yuan's brow twitched. Hang, standing for eternity. Yu, representing space. Hang Yu meant eternal space. This evolution pathway mainly expounded on the eternal aspect of space. It's just a pity that I have only comprehended the pathway, not fully grasped it yet, and for now, I have only deciphered the first tier chapter and the second layer chapter of the eternal space evolution pathway. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Comprehending and fully understanding are 2 different things. The challenge of the 7th star cave was not to fully comprehend a certain evolution pathway, but merely to comprehend it. For a statue containing a 6th rank evolution pathway, one needed only to fully grasp the 3rd rank chapter and the 4th rank chapter to comprehend it. While the statues containing evolution pathways surpassing 6th rank required just the first tier chapter to be fully grasped in order to comprehend the whole pathway. Compared to using text to record evolution pathways, using statues as a medium offered greater and more comprehensive insight to an evolver. After all, some things and feelings are difficult to describe with just words. Of course, to record an evolution pathway on an object like a statue, one had to be an evolver who had reached the end of that particular pathway. It also required a great deal of energy and effort. For example, Lin Yuan could replicate his own martial path evolutionary path on a statue. Other evolvers would only need to ponder the statue to comprehend the martial path evolutionary path. But to achieve this, Lin Yuan, the founder of martial Tao, would have to give up everything and spend decades without sleep just to make it possible. And that's just for the present nearly 4th rank martial path evolutionary path, let alone 6th rank or higher pathways, which would require much more time and energy. Let's take a break. Lin Yuan forced himself to stop understanding the eternal space evolution pathway. Now that he had acquired the pathway, the remaining comprehension could be pursued later. The current priority was to comprehend other evolution pathways contained within the statues. Lin Yuan had a feeling that the reason the 7-star cave world was not always open was key to these statues. Maintaining the mysterious operations of these statues and correlating them with reality, even in a virtual world, was no simple task. It required the Chikuan Star Lord to bear a significant cost. If he didn't take this opportunity to take away all the evolution pathways contained within the statues, it would probably be difficult to have such a chance in the future. Chapter 126. At least Lin Yuan wouldn't get a free ride. Proceed to the next statue. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment, beginning to plan his route. By the time Lin Yuan left from under the massive Rubik's Cube, the silver-haired woman, Yin Ling, who had been meditating beside him, opened her eyes. Not suited for this statue? Yin Ling glanced at Lin Yuan's departing figure. Yin Ling was still quite attentive toward Lin Yuan. To be precise, Yin Ling paid attention to every evolver who surpassed her. In the 4th star cave, Yin Ling had struggled to comprehend for several days, yet Lin Yuan had passed it in just over 20 minutes upon his arrival. This incident had somewhat impacted Yin Ling. Although in the next star cave, Lin Yuan turned mediocre. Yin Ling still didn't underestimate him. Of course, Yin Ling did not know how Lin Yuan had managed to get through the 6th star cave. Since Lin Yuan had been delayed in the 5th star cave, by the time he got to the 6th star cave, Yin Ling had already reached the 7th star cave. 22 days left. Yin Ling once again looked toward the massive Rubik's Cube. After 8 days of arduous comprehension, Yin Ling barely grasped the superficial aspects of the statue of Rubik's Cube. She estimated that another 20 days might barely allow her to comprehend the first-tier chapter contained within. This was because she, Yin Ling, possessed an exceptionally high spatial talent and was in harmony with the vast space. Otherwise, if it were another evolver, let alone a month, even a year or 10 years might not suffice to understand the first-tier chapter. And once she comprehended the first-tier chapter, obtaining the complete evolution path within, Yin Ling would be considered to have passed the 7-star cave's test. The 136 statues within the 7-star cave had 2 standards. One was to contain the 6th rank evolution path. The 2 to 3 meter high statues required understanding the same rank evolution chapters as one's own. For example, a 3rd rank evolver needed to comprehend the 3rd rank chapter to obtain the complete evolution path. 4th rank evolvers needed to understand the 4th rank chapter. That was one standard. The second standard was for those 6 statues that were over 10 meters tall. Whether 3rd rank or 4th rank evolvers, they only needed to comprehend the first-tier chapter of the evolution path contained within the statue to pass. Mysterious space. The 12 figures saw Lin Yuan leave again, looking somewhat stunned. This time, among over 1 million challengers in the 7-star cave, what caught their attention the most was not those 3 with the red patterns, but Lin Yuan, who had the golden pattern. His impressive performance in the 4th star cave, his strong will in the 6th star cave, and the perplexing behavior in the 7th star cave. Can't waste any more time like this. Gu Zhe's brows were tightly furrowed among the 3 figures above. He had already decided to step forward and remind Lin Yuan to quickly choose a statue to comprehend. Even if it was those 2 to 3 meter tall ones, containing the 6th rank evolution path. If this dragged on, Lin Yuan might fail to pass the 7th star cave. Though it was said that even if Lin Yuan didn't pass, he, Gu Zhe, still had the authority to let him join the Red Kuan lineage. But that way, many powers, perks, and treatments would be lost. Gu Zhe, are you going to ask the teacher? Another figure beside him inquired. During the 7-star cave test, the 12 of them were merely observers, without the authority to intervene in any part of the test process, let alone give reminders. The only way Gu Zhe could step forward to remind Lin Yuan was to ask the Qikuan Star Lord. The Qikuan Star Lord was the founder of the seven-star cave world. If he permitted, it would naturally be possible to intervene. It seems I must, Gu Zhe responded, simultaneously sending a strand of consciousness to contact the Qikuan Star Lord. Seeing this, the other two figures did not show much reaction. The three of them, being beyond the 6th rank, were favored students of the Qikuan Star Lord. Asking for a personal favor wasn't a big deal. The Qikuan Star Lord was not one of the 3 ultimate intelligent goddesses who are absolutely selfless. Even powerful evolvers still had their own emotions. Moments later, Gu Zhe's brow furrowed. What happened? What did the teacher say? The two figures beside him asked curiously. The teacher is in retreat. I couldn't see him. Gu Zhe shook his head as he spoke. In retreat. There's nothing to be done then, he said. The teacher is in seclusion. Unless something significant occurs, such as an invasion by the different species or the 3 goddesses exercise the civilization order, he won't make an appearance for other matters. They added. The two figures sighed. As the earliest disciples to follow the Qikuan Star Lord, they knew their teacher very well, especially understanding that during his seclusion, he generally wouldn't respond to anything. No matter how urgent, it had to wait until he came out of seclusion. Gu Zhe remained silent. The two figures were correct. Unless it was a truly significant matter, the Qikuan Star Lord definitely wouldn't leave his seclusion. As for the valuable challenger strolling around, not to mention it was just one golden pattern challenger. Even if all the million-plus challengers of the 7-star cave were taking a stroll, for the Qikuan Star Lord, it would still be a trivial matter. The so-called 3 red patterns were merely enough to warrant a second glance from the Qikuan Star Lord, much like an ant on the ground, differentiated only by its color. That was it. Even giving those 3 red patterns 100,000 years or 10,000 years, they likely wouldn't even reach the Qikuan Star Lord's level. Every Qikuan Star domain competition, the Qikuan Star Lord provided a challenge, merely as a formality to satisfy the duties set by the human alliance. Specifically, the Qikuan Star Lord never paid attention to the challenges himself. It was always their group of disciples who watched and selected. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, another 12 or 13 days went by. Unbeknownst to him, Lin Yuan had been in the 7-star cave for nearly 20 days. As for his achievements, they were delightful. Of the 136 statues in the Star Cave, Lin Yuan had already passed 121 of them. That is to say, Lin Yuan had already discerned 121 evolution paths, starting from the 6th rank, with more than 10 surpassing it. Lin Yuan turned around. He looked at the many statues he had passed. His gaze mostly lingered on the giant statues over 10 meters tall. There was a slowly rotating giant Rubik's Cube. There was a blazing hot sun. There was an entirely black, frightening black hole. There was a giant eye lacking a pupil. There was a giant water droplet, rippling with waves. There was an incomprehensible mirror, whose surface seemed to connect to another world. The statues with evolution paths beyond the 6th rank were bizarre, with the Rubik's Cube being the most normal among them. These statues haven't given me any sense of kinship. Clearly, they aren't suitable for me. Under the Against Heaven's understanding, suitability hardly matters. Lin Yuan thought quietly to himself. In the Dragon Tiger world, the Sword Tomb experience, the true martial sword actually hadn't chosen Lin Yuan. It was merely forcibly attracted by this Supreme Induction Imperial Sword chapter Lin Yuan had discerned and had surrendered unwillingly. As time went by, with Lin Yuan's strength becoming unfathomably deep, the true martial sword finally began to behave. Another person has left? Lin Yuan stopped, noticing a nearby evolver who excitedly stood up and reached out to touch the statue in front of him. All of a sudden, the statue began to glow. Clearly, this evolver had passed the test and was randomly being transported away. A 3rd-rank silver pattern evolver too? Lin Yuan noticed the pattern on the side of the evolver's face was silver. In the 7th-star cave, 3rd-rank challengers even held some advantages, as they only needed to understand the third rank chapter to pass the test. As for fourth rank evolvers, they needed to understand the fourth rank chapter. The difficulty was naturally different. Of course, with a higher realm, seeing from above, discerning the fourth rank chapter wasn't much harder for fourth rank evolvers than it was for third rank evolvers. Overall, it was considered fair. At least it was better than setting a uniform standard, like having all evolvers understand the fourth rank chapter. If that were the standard, likely none of the third rank evolvers would pass. To not have completed the third rank and expect to understand the fourth? Especially from within the sixth rank evolution paths? Quite a few evolvers have already left. Lin Yuan looked around and thought to himself. Quite a few evolvers referred to those who had entered the seventh star cave before Lin Yuan. These evolvers, having been in the seventh star cave for more than 20 days, nearly a month, if they had merely contemplated statues 2 to 3 meters tall, most had already passed the test. Chapter 127, 10,000 Years. Now in the seventh star cave, besides those 3 red pattern examiners, the least numerous are actually the golden pattern challengers. Those who occupy the majority are instead the silver patterns who came afterward. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted. He looked toward the initial location where one is transferred from the sixth star cave to the seventh star cave. A young man suddenly appeared, evidently having just passed through the sixth star cave. Fang Qing. Lin Yuan immediately recognized the other person. Early on during the previous star cave challenges, Lin Yuan had identified Fang Qing. After all, Lin Yuan was quite familiar with Fang Qing. No matter how many times Fang Qing changed his appearance or altered his stature, Lin Yuan could easily recognize him. Indeed, Lin Yuan nodded slightly. It was no surprise to Lin Yuan that Fang Qing could make it to the seventh star cave. The challenge of the seventh star cave mainly lies in the word challenge. Fourth rank evolvers might have some advantages but not much, and especially in the seventh star cave, fourth rank evolvers are actually at a disadvantage. Continue. It's almost over now. Lin Yuan no longer paid attention to Fang Qing and walked towards the stone statue in front of him. What a massive mountain! As soon as Fang Qing arrived at the seventh star cave, he was immediately attracted by the mountain beneath his feet. After all, a mountain standing in the middle of the cosmic starry skies is quite a rare sight, and other evolvers seeing it for the first time would surely be shocked. Lin Yuan, when he first arrived at the seventh star cave, was also shocked by this mountain. Soon, Fang Qing's attention shifted from the mountain to the many stone statues atop the summit. To comprehend the evolution path contained within the stone statues, once Fang Qing understood the rules, he looked up at the summit again. 136 stone statues came into sight, and instinctively, Fang Qing was drawn to 2 of them. Those 2. Fang Qing immediately walked towards the 2 stone statues. Time passed. Another 3 or 4 days went by. Lin Yuan had already reached the last stone statue. This statue was a huge mouth, 13 to 14 meters wide, as if it wanted to swallow everything. Swallowing! Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. Under other statues, there were usually several examiners comprehending them. Especially those with simpler entry-level statues, there were even more than a dozen examiners sitting cross-legged. But not a single challenger was before this strange statue, just as Lin Yuan was about to start his comprehension. Buzz! A faint spatial fluctuation came. In the distance, below the colossal Rubik's Cube, a silver-haired woman showed joy on her face and reached out to touch the cube. Suddenly, the Rubik's Cube stopped spinning. It radiated a soft glow. The silver-haired woman disappeared. This scene caught the attention of most evolvers on the field. After all, the silver-haired woman was one of only 3 red pattern examiners among a million. Moreover, the silver-haired woman was also the first, who comprehended a stone statue over 10 meters, and then passed the challenge as an evolver. In the mysterious space, 12 figures saw the silver-haired woman leave and immediately started talking. That's the everlasting cosmic evolution path. Just 27 days to comprehend the first tier chapter. Well nurtured, she might even surpass 6th rank in the future. Too bad. Such a genius has nothing to do with us. What's wrong? You want to take her in? Do you even understand the everlasting cosmic evolution path? The 9 figures below casually chatted. At this point, they no longer paid attention to Lin Yuan. 23 days, a whole 23 days. While other examiners labored in comprehension and gained a lot during those 23 days, it all came to Lin Yuan, who just idly wandered for 23 days. If it weren't for the fact they had no authority to interfere with the trials, some would probably have gone to ask Lin Yuan what exactly he had been doing those 23 days. Lin Yuan. Among the 3 figures above, Gu Zhe silently looked at Lin Yuan. At that moment, Lin Yuan was sitting under the giant mouth statue. The swallowing sky evolution path is not so easy to comprehend. Gu Zhe still had a faint hope for Lin Yuan, but this kind of faint hope had already appeared more than 100 times. Half a day later, swallowing sky evolution path. Eat, 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 devour everything, to fulfill oneself. The cosmic starry sky will become my sustenance. Lin Yuan opened his eyes and steadied himself. He had to admit, this statue was truly strange. The evolution path it contained could actually affect one's mind. I can draw lessons, but I cannot follow this path. Lin Yuan gazed at the giant mouth statue before him. The swallowing sky evolution path discerned from the statue emphasized one key aspect: consumption. To consume everything, planets, even galaxies. Of course, following this evolution path to the end would lead to losing human form, with spiritual wisdom gradually diminishing. Finally done. 136 stone statues. Comprehended all. Lin Yuan was in good spirits. It was the first time he had seen so many evolution paths at once. Each evolution path, Lin Yuan had only comprehended parts or even small parts of it. To comprehend as many evolution paths as possible, he almost gobbled them up whole. As soon as he met the standard of comprehension, he would immediately turn to the next statue. Of course, Lin Yuan's standard was the upper limit for other challengers to pass the star cave. I should rest for a bit. Lin Yuan left the giant mouth statue and sat down casually on a clearing at the top of the mountain. Even with against heaven's understanding, furiously comprehending statues, embracing 6th rank and beyond evolution paths for half a month had left Lin Yuan somewhat exhausted. It's been 23 days, it's time to pass. Lin Yuan braced himself with his right hand on the ground and glanced at the numerous statues. It would be extremely simple for him to pass the 7th star cave. Just randomly choose a statue and then touch it with his hand. The statue would naturally sense whether Lin Yuan's body contained the trace of the evolution path it encompassed. Chapter 128. Lin Yuan had figured out all the stone statues, and he only needed to touch any of them to pass through. Choose one of those 16 statues, she said. Lin Yuan looked towards the 16 huge statues that contained evolutionary pathways surpassing 6th rank. The 7th star cave was a test, naturally involving a ranking. Comprehending evolutionary pathways beyond 6th rank, compared to those of the 6th rank, would naturally receive different evaluations in the eyes of the Red Kuan lineage. Lin Yuan had no intention of hiding his abilities. Having decided to join the Red Kuan lineage, he certainly wouldn't be worse than those 3 red pattern examiners. According to what Fang Qing had said, joining the Red Kuan lineage meant becoming a disciple under one of the 12 Star Lords. And the strongest 3 among these 12 Star Lord disciples had all surpassed 6th rank. Which one should I choose? Lin Yuan's gaze lingered on the 16 statues. This one it is, he declared. Lin Yuan looked towards the terrifying stone statue of the Taiyang that was more than 10 meters tall. This statue, containing an evolutionary pathway surpassing 6th rank, was utterly firm and positive, complementing Lin Yuan's Taiji Dao. Hold on. Once you touch it, you have to leave this treasure land. Before making a move, Lin Yuan suddenly felt a reluctance to leave. Throughout these 20-odd days, even though he hardly rested, the gains had left him immensely satisfied. There shouldn't be anything I've missed. Lin Yuan's gaze swept back and forth across the summit, reviewing all 136 statues. Dividing the 136 stone statues into strong and weak was naturally done by size. For example, the statues 2 or 3 meters high contained 6th-rank evolutionary pathways. Those over 10 meters tall contained pathways surpassing 6th rank. In fact, even among the 6th-rank evolutionary pathways, there was a distinction between statues 2 meters high and those 3 meters high. Those statues nearly 3 meters tall, though also containing 6th-rank evolutionary pathways, were definitely stronger than those 2 meters tall. The same was true for those surpassing 10 meters. Among the statues containing evolutionary pathways beyond 6th rank, some were only 11 meters high, while others nearly reached 15 or 16 meters. The evolutionary pathways contained within these two types of statues, of course, meant that the latter was a bit stronger. Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? Lin Yuan scanned all 136 statues and then looked over the entire summit, even beginning to observe the mountain beneath his feet. The mountain peak? Lin Yuan was slightly taken aback. Inside the 7th star cave, the cosmic starry skies were merely the background, visible but untouchable. What the examiners could come into contact with were only the 136 stone statues, and the towering mountain peak underfoot. If one were to talk about size, merging all 136 stone statues together would still be far from matching the magnitude of the mountain underfoot. The peak of the mountain? Lin Yuan fell thud onto the ground, laying completely flat, his awareness slowly spreading out, beginning to sense the mountain pressed against his back. Imposing, majestic, substantial. Can this mountain also be comprehended? Lin Yuan couldn't help but immerse himself in it. In just a moment, Lin Yuan sensed the vastness and inclusiveness of the mountain beneath him, as if the entire world existed within this mountain, be it 6th-rank evolutionary pathways or those surpassing it. All were merely a part of this mountain. How perfect! Lin Yuan's heart trembled. On this mountain, he saw everything, including the Taiji Dao he had established himself. Why? Why have I only noticed this mountain now? Lin Yuan closed his eyes. What is the most noticeable thing within the 7th star cave? The cosmic starry sky? The 136 stone statues? Neither. The most noticeable was the mountain peak beneath their feet. Standing against the background of the cosmic starry sky, the mountain peak was the first thing all the evolvers saw upon entering the 7th star cave. Only afterwards did they notice the 136 stone statues. But, such an obvious mountain peak, why did nobody pay attention to it? Is it due to a lack of realm? After figuring out the 136 evolutionary pathways, my cognitive realm has greatly improved. When I focus on the mountain, I then have an epiphany. Compared to the 136 stone statues, the mountain underfoot was too vast. Just like the cosmic starry sky, even if Lin Yuan gazed at it for a long time, he wouldn't gain much because the difference in their levels was too great. Against Heaven's understanding was not omnipotent. It depended on the height Lin Yuan had achieved. Time slowly passed. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. In the mysterious space, the gaze of 12 figures fell upon Lin Yuan once more. What is he doing? Lying on the ground to rest? The 12 figures were dumbfounded. They had already more or less gotten used to Lin Yuan's wandering for more than half a month. But now, Lin Yuan had become even more extreme, forgoing wandering altogether and simply lying down listlessly. Is it because he did not find a statue suitable for himself? One of the figures below guessed. In the past 20-odd days, Lin Yuan had circled through all 136 statues, finally sitting down to rest at the end. If Lin Yuan had found a suitable statue, he would have been eager to comprehend it. The scene now could only indicate that among the 136 statues, none contained an evolutionary pathway suitable for Lin Yuan. He's giving up just like that? Among the 3 figures above, Gu Zei's eyebrows furrowed once again. He too thought that Lin Yuan might not have found a suitable statue. But even if they were unsuitable, one could still forcefully comprehend them. The pathways contained within the statues merely facilitated comprehension speed if they matched one's own. Even if they were unsuitable, forcing comprehension would still yield gains. The 16 statues that contained pathways surpassing the 6th rank were too difficult to forcibly comprehend, but one could still try to comprehend the other statues containing 6th rank pathways. Chapter 129. Even if he still hadn't figured out the evolution path in the end, at least he had tried and had not given up easily. Thus, Gu Zhe would have a reason, after the test ended, to include Lin Yuan in the Red Kuan lineage. However, now, seeing Lin Yuan lying on the ground having completely given up, Gu Zhe began to doubt his own judgment. Junior brother. Let it be. This person's perseverance is too weak. Even if they possess strong comprehension, their future achievements would be limited. Two figures beside him tried to persuade Gu Zhe. They even felt that Gu Zhe did not need to take Lin Yuan as his disciple anymore. After all, nurturing a disciple in the Red Kuan lineage requires resources, especially in the early stages. So be it. Gu Zhe sighed internally. He also felt that Lin Yuan's perseverance was lacking. To become strong, aptitude is one aspect, comprehension another, but strong perseverance is equally necessary. Encountering any issue without even attempting to address it, surrendering proactively, such a person would achieve nothing. Time slowly passed. Another couple of days went by. This day was Lin Yuan's 29th in the 7th Star Cave. According to the rules of the 7th Star Cave test, if Lin Yuan hadn't figured out the evolution path by the next day, he would be expelled from the 7th Star Cave world. Why is that person lying there? I don't know. Maybe they are tired? Lin Yuan's actions also drew the attention of other test takers. However, these test takers just took another look, as their main goal at the moment was to pass the 7th Star Cave. No test taker had the time to meddle too much. Just then, Lin Yuan, who had been lying motionless on the ground for nearly 10 days, suddenly opened his eyes. So that's how it is. In the depths of Lin Yuan's eyes, a vast starry sky was faintly reflected. An extremely profound aura began to condense within Lin Yuan's body. Because Lin Yuan was lying on the ground, parts of his skin were in contact with the mountain peak beneath his feet. At the moment this profound aura appeared, the entire mountain peak began to tremble. For a time, the remaining dozens of evolvers were thrown into panic, abruptly stopping their contemplation, and standing up to look around. The tremor of the mountain didn't stop. It even seemed to intensify. Mysterious space. Shock appeared on the faces of 12 figures. The main peak of the 7th Star Cave trembling was something that hadn't happened in nearly 10,000 years. What is this? Among the top 3 figures, the one in the lead, as if realizing something, had his expression suddenly change. The final test. Someone has passed the final test. The other 2 figures quickly caught on. The 9 figures below all stood up, looking towards the 7th Star Cave again, as if searching for something. In a vast grand hall, an old man dressed in a red robe was sitting on a throne, his eyes half closed, dozing off. Star-Lord, Star-Lord. It was then that the voice of an intelligent assistant came, waking up the red-robed old man. What is it? Don't you know I'm in seclusion? The Chikuan Star-Lord did not open his eyes, but frowned and muttered. Speak. Chikuan Star-Lord spoke again, knowing that something capable of interrupting his seclusion must be no small matter. In the 7th Star Cave world, someone has passed the final test. The intelligent assistant quickly said. The final test? Upon hearing this, the Chikuan Star-Lord's eyes silently opened. Boom! A terrifying heat quickly spread thousands of miles. The Chikuan Star-Lord's eyes shone like 2 constant stars illuminating in all directions. The Chikuan Star-Lord connected his consciousness to the virtual world, overlooking the whole 7-Star Cave world. His gaze directed towards the continuously trembling mountain peak of the 7th Star Cave. Immediately, he returned to reality, sitting on the throne in the center of the palace, slowly closing his eyes, isolating light and heat. 10,000 years. Chapter 130 Xian Huang Evolutionary Path, the 13th Disciple. 7th Star Cave. The mountains shook and swayed. The most affected were undoubtedly the challengers who were still comprehending the stone statues. Among the numerous challengers in the 7-star cave, only 3 or 5 were golden pattern challengers, and all the rest were silver pattern. As for those 3 red pattern examiners, they had already passed the test and left the 7-star cave several days ago. The majority of golden pattern challengers had also left. What's happening? Why do I feel like the ground is unstable? An earthquake? Can virtual worlds even have earthquakes? The challengers looked at each other, puzzled. They were all 3rd or 4th rank evolvers, not one to lose their balance due to such tremors. But what place was this? The 7-star cave world, a test world opened by the great Chikuan Star Lord. To ensure the fairness of the challengers' comprehension of the stone statues, the entire 7th-star cave was incredibly stable, with no chance of any unexpected variables. But now, why do I feel that the statue in front of me is trembling? At that moment, a challenger seemed to discover something, staring in disbelief at the stone statue he had been contemplating for half a month. This statue, nearly 3 meters tall, was one of the top statues among the many containing 6th-rank evolution paths. And with the attention of the other challengers, it was immediately discovered, under the trembling of the ground. Not only the 2 to 3 meter tall statues were affected. Even those over 10 meters tall that contained evolution paths surpassing 6th rank were also affected. The specific manifestation was the originally motionless giant statues of over 10 meters. For example, the huge Rubik's Cube, whose 6 faces slowly rotated, creating waves of spatial ripples. And that gaping mouth statue, which seemed like an abyss within, with an indistinct whirlpool swirling. Every one of the giant statues containing evolution paths surpassing 6th rank was releasing its own aura as much as possible, influencing and assimilating its surroundings. But at this moment, all the giant statues over 10 meters tall were as if dead. The 6 faces of the huge Rubik's Cube stopped turning, and the eerie breath of the gaping mouth statue had completely subsided, as if it were just an ordinary statue. Something special has definitely happened. Fong Qing also stopped contemplating the statue in front of him. What the old man with the white beard had told him about the 7th-star cave was very clear. That was, this star cave tested the enlightenment of each evolver. What's with him? Fong Qing observed his surroundings. He noticed that the challengers sitting beneath the statues all showed puzzled and shocked expressions. Only in a distant corner, a challenger lying on the ground resting remained unchanged. While everyone was conversing anxiously, this challenger was lying on the ground motionless, paying no heed to the continuously trembling ground. Golden pattern. Fong Qing had noticed this peculiar golden pattern challenger early on. Without rushing to comprehend the statues and pass the 7th-star cave, he was just lying there resting. Mysterious space. 12 figures experienced a surge of emotions. Those challengers did not know what the trembling mountains meant, but these figures were different as disciples of the Star Lord. They knew much more than the outside world. Has someone passed the final test? Who on earth was it? The difficulty of the final test is so high, even if I were to comprehend it, I might not succeed. How did these 3rd and 4th rank little ones manage it? A momentous event. Something my Red Kuan lineage hasn't encountered in 10,000 years. The 12 figures were immensely shaken, precisely because their greater knowledge made them acutely aware of the difficulty of passing the final test. That was not meant for the normal challengers. It's Lin Yuan. It must be Lin Yuan who has passed the final test. The 12 figures glanced over each challenger. In the end, their gaze stopped on Lin Yuan. They had no choice. Compared to the shock, anxiety, and unease of the other challengers, only Lin Yuan remained unchanged from beginning to end. Moreover, the 12 figures could feel that the trembling of the entire mountain emanated from Lin Yuan, rapidly spreading in all directions. Lin Yuan, wasn't he just loitering around before? Could it be that he wasn't just loitering but was secretly comprehending the final? Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.